What's the matter? Moments later, the leader sat in his treehouse, directly asking the question. Merchant, accustomed to the leader's straightforward style, leaned against the treehouse wall, actually the outer tree trunk, and said, I'm here to report on the situation with our stored supplies. This time, the hunting team returned without any losses, which is great, but we can't continue preserving the meat the way we used to. What do you mean? With the rainy season approaching, the humidity in the air is much higher than before. We can no longer use air-drying methods to preserve meat jerky, and the same goes for fish and other supplies. With the current number of people in the gathering team, we can't ensure that our food and various supplies will last until the end of the rainy season. After speaking, Merchant glanced at Eagle Eye. Though they disliked each other, they wouldn't engage in petty squabbles over such serious matters. Eagle Eye rubbed his temples, conceding Merchant's point. Unfortunately, that's true. The leader pondered for a moment, then looked at Merchant. You didn't come here just to report the situation, did you? You must have some solutions in mind. Yes, though it's not the best solution. I hope you can suspend the rescue efforts for new members. Traditionally, the leader had allocated some manpower to locate and care for those still frozen, or those who had thawed but had yet to wake up. These people were part of the support team but couldn't gather supplies or perform other tasks like the rest. Their sole responsibility was to find new frozen individuals and help them become new members of the camp. Manpower, especially skilled manpower, was the most valuable resource in this world. While most tasks of the gathering, support, and hunting teams were mundane, talents like the weather seer, the priest, and the doctor, or many others currently lacking, might be lying dormant in the ice. Such talents might be 1 in 100 or even 1,000, so the more people they saved, the higher the chance of finding these talents. Even ordinary people could contribute to labor and support the camp's work. Having more people was undoubtedly better. The leader's strategy was correct and highly beneficial in the long term. Merchant understood this. However, as the support team leader, he had to consider many other factors. Caring for these thawed individuals required a lot of manpower, yet most would gradually die, significantly wasting resources. Moreover, like Lu Xinrui, even if they woke up, they would need time to recover, train, and adapt. They wouldn't be useful immediately and would only consume food, requiring others to take care of them. With the rainy season looming, their current storage was insufficient. Allocating more to these consumers with no immediate output could drag everyone down. Perhaps there would be returns in the future, but in the short term, it was a burden. If they immediately stopped rescuing new members, the manpower used for locating and caring for them could be freed. Even transferring them from the support team to the gathering team would give Eagle Eye more hands, preventing everyone from being dragged down. The leader, deep in thought, responded, I'm aware of your difficulties, but, leader, I understand your strategy is more beneficial in the long run, but we need to overcome the immediate crisis first. Merchant interrupted, slightly agitated, please consider our situation. And I'm only asking to suspend the rescues. We can resume after the rainy season. The leader sighed, understanding Merchant's perspective but holding his own views. A closer look at the ratio of those rescued and those who survived showed a decreasing trend. Initially, 1 in 3 survived, but by Lu Xinrui's batch, only 1 in 10. What does this mean? It indicated that even while frozen, there was a limit, and they were nearing it. The longer they waited, the smaller the chance of survival for those still frozen. He didn't know if, by following Merchant's suggestion and resuming rescues after the rainy season, there would still be survivors among those rescued. Thus, he had to refuse, I understand your concerns, but I can't give up on this. Merchant showed clear disappointment, stabilized his emotions, and dryly replied, all right, I understand, before leaving alone. Watching Merchant's departing figure, Eagle Eye said to the leader, actually, this time, I think Merchant has a point. Enough, the leader interrupted with a hand gesture. I know, but I can't focus solely on our 86 people. I have to consider the continuation of our community. If they only aimed to survive, stopping the rescues might be best. The freed manpower could help gather enough supplies for the rainy season. But as the leader, he had to consider more. Even if all 86 survived, what then? Without new members, their population would only decline. Next, they'd have to disband the hunting team since each hunt risked losses. They'd lose their claws and fangs, living unprotected in this world. Fewer children would be born, leading to inbreeding, a vicious cycle of deformities, illnesses, and a rising proportion of disabled infants, eventually leading to the community's extinction. Eagle Eye saw the leader's resolve and knew further persuasion was futile. Sighing, he stood to leave. All right, you're the leader. What you say goes. I'll go rest now. Yes. Oh, could you find Big Bear for me? I have something to discuss with him. Eagle Eye nodded and left the treehouse. On the first night, Lu Xinrui could still maintain her clarity despite the low fever. However, her condition worsened on the second day. Black spots began appearing all over her body, her low fever escalated into a high fever, and her consciousness became intermittent. Yanzi had to bring her work to the bedside, wiping Lu Xinrui's body with warm water periodically to keep her temperature from rising further. But by the second night, Lu Xinrui's body temperature started to drop, not a sign of improvement but rather a worsening condition. Using a makeshift thermometer, the doctor noted her temperature falling below 36 degrees, then 35, eventually reaching 30 degrees. Yanzi stayed up all night, holding her hand by the bed. Fortunately, in the latter half of the night, Lu Xinrui's temperature began to rise, her previously furrowed and pained expression now peaceful as if sleeping. The black spots started to fade, bringing smiles to Yanzi and the visiting doctor, recognizing this as a sign of passing the critical phase. On the third morning, Lu Xinrui finally woke up, ravenously consuming more food than usual after a day of fasting. You look quite good. Since Eagle Eye had to oversee the gathering team during the day, the leader visited Lu Xinrui, with Big Bear and a hunter named Blood Knife. Lu Xinrui hesitated, responding, Yes, I feel much better now. She knew most of them, but not Blood Knife. After the attack, she remained wary of unfamiliar men. Seeing through her thoughts, the leader introduced, You've met Big Bear. This is Blood Knife, also from the hunting team. To join the hunting team, you'll need training and preparation. He's here to teach you, don't worry. He's one of the earliest hunters and has undergone the second mutation. He's more than qualified to be your teacher. Blood Knife, a man of about 25 with slightly long hair, exuded a somewhat sinister aura. Hey, I volunteered to teach you. Wanted to meet the woman brave enough to kill. You did well at the welcome party, Blood Knife chuckled, his smile still eerie. If you want to join the hunting team, you'll need to handle your hair. It's impractical to move with such long hair, right? Lu Xinrui hesitated. She had been growing her hair since junior high, only trimming it occasionally, but Blood Knife had a point. Long hair could be a liability in combat, getting caught on things. After a moment of hesitation, she took the bone knife Eagle Eye had given her from the bedside and cut off a section of her hair. Yanzi, not expecting such swift action, quickly snatched the knife away. Let me trim it properly, or you'll end up looking like a mangy cat. Blood Knife laughed heartily. Good, I like your style. When you're ready, come to my treehouse. The leader and Big Bear know where it is. With that, he left the leader and Big Bear behind. The leader shrugged, explaining to Lu Xinrui, Don't mind him. Blood Knife is peculiar, but his skills are top-notch, second only to Big Bear in the hunting team.